Okay, we are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, co-host Andrea Kay, and Urban Miaris, and we have our first guest with us, Mr. Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
Great. Welcome from the Hervieux Real Estate Group. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, thank you for having me. Basically, what we do, one thing that we do that is quite different is that we host educational home selling class for anyone that is considering selling their home within the next, whether it's 3 months from now or 2 years from now. And in the class, we basically teach homeowners how they can ensure that they sell their home for another, an extra $20, $30, $40,000 when it's the right time for them to do it.
So how would somebody go about, if I have my home, I want to put it on the market, I know it's got a certain value, and I want to increase that value without spending an arm and a leg. Give me some ideas on how we do that.
Well, the first step is for us to look at the property and identify what we call intelligent fix-ups. And so those are things that we would recommend that we know that for every dollar you would invest in doing those things, you would get at least $3 or more in the back end in terms of a higher sales price.
So you already have an idea of what you want to accomplish. If you want to triple the investment value.
Absolutely, okay. Yes. And so just to give some examples to listeners, I mean, buyers really the first thing that they're going to come in contact with, it's going to be, the overall outside appearance of the facade. And some of those large items will be garage door, will be also the entry door, and for properties that have older, outdated garage doors or entry door, you don't have to replace them. You can do a full finish. So we have someone that we work with that specializes in that. So you can take an aluminum door and make it look like a really nice high-end garage door. And same thing for an old wood doors that was like 30 years old.
And if your firm operates in the real estate environment like I don't want to say normal or routine operation, because that's not what we strive to be, but if it does, then you've already negotiated with the vendors that are helping to give good pricing to your clients. Am I correct?
Yes, exactly. And on top of that, each vendors that we work with, they are in the same philosophy of, for every dollar that the homeowner will spend, they want to make sure that the homeowner will get that return, that they will be creating equity and being very purposeful in whatever the fix-ups are.
Okay. Yeah. Well, now you mentioned that you do a lot of educational classes. How long do the classes last?
1 hour.
An hour?
And they start at 6:30. We do them on Tuesday evening and Wednesday evenings. Yeah.
Okay, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I assume that we can find these classes on your website?
Absolutely. It's on the website. Also on...
Tell our listeners how they find that website. That's the important part.
Okay, well, it's hervieuxrealestate.com and also sdworkshop.com.
Okay, sdworkshop.com. I think just knowing me, I'm going to speak for our listeners, you better spell the other one out.
Absolutely. Well, Hervieux, French name, obviously, and it's tough. H-E-R-V as in Victor, I-E-U-X, realestate.com.
Okay, hervieuxrealestate.com.
Now,
Great.
For your workshops, is there any particular area in the market that you focus on more in terms of price range, or is it open to anybody who's got a home they want to sell?
Absolutely. It's totally open to anyone that wants to attend, is thinking of selling within the next couple of years. And we do them throughout the county. We do them in South Bay. We do them in Mission Valley. We do them in Carmel Valley, Carlsbad, Oceanside, Escondido. We do them throughout the county.
Okay, great. So you have a very wide footprint. For
Absolutely.
That's great. Mm-hmm. That's great. So you said something a little bit before the show. You were talking about something I thought was unique. I know that a lot of real estate firms will bring in a staging company to stage a home, and there's costs related with that. But you actually have something special. You do some of your own staging. Is that correct?
Yes. So once all the intelligent fix-ups are done, and the home shows well, then we can make it show even better with staging. And unfortunately, most people don't want to stage properties because they need to hire a stager and a staging company. Just to give you some ballpark, to stage a 3,000 square foot property would be between $4,000 to $6,000. So it's a
Wow.
substantial cost. And so we've recognized the value of staging. And so over the last 4 or 5 years, we've personally invested probably more than $50,000 to $75,000 in our own staging inventory. So we have a warehouse with, dining tables, couches, artwork, area
Wow.
rugs, the whole the whole list of items to really increase the showability of the home.
Now, who manages that process then? So who's in charge of the staging?
It's all done internally. So we have someone on our team that is specialized and goes into the property and basically stage it. And so the staging also differs. If the property is occupied and there's already furniture and decoration, then we're going to complement whatever the homeowner has. And if it's vacant, then we bring basically
Well, the whole
everything.
industry has changed.
Right.
I remember when I was in the late 70s, early 80s when I had real estate companies, and we just go out there and knock on doors and sign them up or wait for the phone to ring, and it's really has gotten more sophisticated.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing.
Well, could it be your background that why you're bringing a different level of sophistication to the real estate market? Because your background's very interesting.
Yes, actually, both my wife and I have a math and science background. I'm an electrical engineer, and she's a biochemist. And so it's not what people think of a real estate agent typically, but we bring a pretty analytical approach, and to make sure that, again, when selling a property, that the homeowner really maximize their equity gain. Because unfortunately, on a daily basis, we look at properties that have sold, and we're going to see, we see on a daily basis homeowners that left $20,000-$30,000 on the table. And that's what this class is all about, is to avoid that.
Interesting. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450, Bloomberg Radio, and streaming live on the web at financialnewsandtalk.com. Give us a tweet at CloseUpSD or find us on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay and Urban Miaris, and our guest is Mr. Paul Hervieux from the Hervieux Real Estate Group. So I want to go back to one point on the staging, because one thing that I want our listeners to know clearly is if staging typically costs $4,000 to $6,000 when you hire an outside third party to do that, what you gave us before the show was you do the staging for nothing.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we're so automatic with that, and I forgot to mention it.
Right.
Basically, yes. I believe our job is to do whatever it takes to sell the home for the highest price, and staging is a key component of that. And as a result, we are providing staging services at no extra charge. It's part of the real estate commission.
That's amazing.
So, and what else I see here is if we go down, I used to do this all the time when we'd want to find real estate people and talk to them about different things in my career. We'd go down to the title company and we'd say, give us a list of your top producers, right? And they'd always give us this big long list. But, anybody that spends as much time and effort in this, and you come up to the top of the list in San Diego. So.
That's correct. One thing we're very proud of is last year there was more than 23,000 real estate agents in the county of San Diego. And I'm very proud to say that we've sold more homes than any other agents last year. Yeah.
And is it really because of the workshops that you're doing and the attention to the analysis part of it?
I think so. Really, people that attend our events, they really understand the value of doing kind of the process that we go through to maximize their equity gain. And yes, our classes are good for conveying that message.
Yeah. See, as a wife, I was hoping you were going to say it's the fact that you get a chance to work with your wife every day. You guys are an amazing husband and wife team.
Yes, I need to give her a lot of credit, because she's a great asset. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to be tough, though, right? We've had a lot of family businesses on the show, and they've been very in husband and wife teams. They've been very honest that it can be challenging to work with your family and or your spouse.
I do not agree. For us, it's actually we're probably very fortunate. We're very similarly minded, and And people say sometimes, well, do you talk about real estate at home? Absolutely. We talk about real estate 24/7.
Oh my gosh, you guys live it, huh?
Yes, and we like it. We're excited. We keep thinking about new ideas and we implement them to give more value to our clients. And for us, it's not a problem. I think it brings us even closer in that process.
Now, tell me a little bit about how you ended up in San Diego, because you're French Canadian. I mean, obviously you're not Texan, right?
Correct.
With that accent. So why San Diego? I love it that you chose to come here.
Well, I was on the Canadian triathlon national team. So when I was in college, I was on the national team, and we did a triathlon training camp in Tucson, Arizona. So that was my first taste of the U.S.
Oh,
really.
wow.
So
I apologize.
Hope it wasn't summertime.
Sorry.
No, that was in the springtime. It was just beautiful. It was a great experience. And then after graduating, I came to San Diego to train with some Australian triathletes. So basically, triathlon really brought me to San Diego for the training condition and the weather, obviously. And I loved it, so I never went back.
You mean you don't want to run any triathlons in Minneapolis in the wintertime?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're here because it's a fantastic town, and obviously you're just like taking the real estate market by storm here. You and your wife.
Yeah. What do you have? I assume you service the buyers and the sellers. Correct?
Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Any tips or tricks on how people can get better value other than just coming to your class to the buyers? Do you have any first-time buyers programs, anything like that?
Well, I think one of the benefit we have is that oftentimes we're going to know in advance what properties will be listed in, a month, 2 months, 3 months out. And for buyers, one of the additional values to say, okay, well, we know what's on the MLS, which is the website that buyers are right. Well, agents and buyers are looking at. But we have kind of a shadow inventory on top of that for buyers to see, okay, those properties will be available in the springtime, which is sometimes when the right time is going to be for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Well, we're starting to run a little short on time, so let's go back over and tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you. Phone number, email address, what's the best way?
Okay, phone number 858-717-1236. That's my phone number. And also to view the upcoming schedule of our classes, of our home selling classes, sdworkshop.com.
Awesome.
SD Workshop?
Fantastic. I recommend everybody who's thinking about selling to attend a workshop.
Actually, I just said sdworkshop.com. That's incorrect. It's sdworkshop.org.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you made that correction.
Great. So anything you want to leave our listeners with before we go?
I would say on top of that, once the intelligent fix-ups are done, the staging is done, then the advertising is really critical. And we recently acquired a drone with a GoPro, and we take really amazing aerial view.
Awesome.
And that helps buyers to visualize the home in respect to the surroundings.
Get on your website, and you're going to see an amazing set of pictures on any property before you even get out there.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. Well, Paul, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to following up with you next week and getting to know a lot more about your company.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego business and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD, or just find us on Facebook and let us know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.